All right, what's going on, guys? It's Luke here. Just wanted to go over a quick video today. If you guys see my trade recap today, this was the trade that I took. I have all the executions in the YouTube video, or the recap from today's April 1st, 2026. If you guys want to go check that out, you're watching this in the future. But basically, this was the trade. Basically, we got an SMT off this 10 a.m. low. We got nice displacement to the upside, and we targeted that data high. Now, obviously, I got a bad exit. I wanted to take profit up here, but basically what happened was the candle just started shooting up. I didn't have time to set my take profit because this was on Tradovate and you couldn't drag it, so I had to kind of manually set it. I had to exit manually and got out a lot lower, and it ended up still with like a 1.4 hour trade, whatever. But I wanted to highlight the importance today on why you need to always pay attention to data candles, even though they're not the biggest candles, okay? So today we had ISM manufacturing PMI news at 10 a.m. and this is a red folder event. Now, typically and normally recently it hasn't been doing that much, right? And as you can see, this candle right here is pretty indecisive. It puts in a top wick and it puts in a bottom wick, and then obviously price runs the top wick and it just continues slowly chopping to the upside. But what do we notice here? This data high is still intact, right? So price comes down and it ends up putting in an SMT off this low. So this is important, right? Because you could see that ES, I think I erased it. Let me just, oh no, right here. You could see this is the 10 a.m. candle on ES. It's a top wick, bottom wick. We run the top wick. We leave the bottom wick intact. Price comes down, sweeps out that 10 a.m. data low. Boom. NQ fails to sweep it out, puts in a higher low. So now what do we have? We have an SMT off of a data low, and we have a drawn liquidity at a data wick up here from Trump speaking or whatever, saying some shit at like 8:45 in the morning, right? So not only do we have an SMT off this data low that most people forget about, we're getting displacement, and we have a draw above, and we have a clear break-even point. This is a great trade, and this is just a point to highlight, as you guys need to be marking these. Whenever there's red folder news, make sure to mark the candles, whether it's a huge candle or not. Obviously, this right here is a very obvious data wick candle, right? But you can see right here, this isn't like an obvious candle. Like, you look at it, it's just an indecisive. We put in a top wick, bottom wick. But as you can see, it does serve as an area where price reacts off of. Because again, look, ES perfectly comes down, sweeps it out, and we reverse, right? It's not just like out of nowhere, you know what I mean? It has some value to it. So really pay attention to these candles. Even if like the news candle is not the biggest candle, they are areas to watch as draws on liquidity, anything, right? Like, there's been times, I think it was it yesterday we had 10 a.m. news. Let me double check really quick. I swear it was yesterday. We had 10 a.m. news, but it wasn't a crazy candle. And then you could see price go back for it again. Let me just double check here. Right here. Yeah, this was it. This was when I caught the short. So as you can see right here on this candle right here, this was 10 a.m. red folder news. You can see this indecisive candle right here. Most people forget about it, right? So I actually took a loss trying to short here. But what happens? Price comes up, resweeps that 10 a.m. data high. Even though it's not obvious, it's still intact. We sweep it, I shorted here, and I caught that whole move down. And it all happened. Yes, we were delivering off a higher time frame gap and stuff like that. But again, it had to come back up, resweep that 10 a.m. data high. Even though it wasn't an obvious candle, it still holds some value, and then we dump off it. And even if you caught along in here, obviously this isn't the greatest example, but typically you can use these as targets for like TPs, or you can wait for price to sweep them and look for reversals, because these candles, they're still data wick candles. They're just not enormous data wick candles. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. This was 10 a.m. news yesterday, and this was the 10 a.m. news today. Today we get the S&T. Yesterday we wait for price to sweep it, and then we catch that move down. But yeah, just important areas to keep an eye on, especially with 10 a.m. news. I find this happens a lot with 10 a.m. news. Price will manipulate at 10 a.m., leave it, and then come back and target it and sweep it and then reverse the other way. So make sure to pay attention to these 10, especially like I'm saying, especially these 10 a.m. news, because I feel like these are overlooked a lot because, well, we're already halfway into or like deep into the session, and people will just kind of forget about it if it's not an obvious wick. So just something to keep an eye on. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. Want to knock this quick video out? Code LukeX50 for 50% off alpha for the next probably like 24 hours left in the sale. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.